night. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Oh, it's racing.
When you need the best designs in your fleet of vehicles, there's only one brand name that many trust in. One that makes every car pop out from the rest of the field, and that is Lightning Wrapz. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at Lightning Wrapz to get yourself a vehicle unlike the rest. Lightning Wrapz, the most affordable designs made at your leisure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, back here live on PTM Racing TV. We are now here in Daytona Beach, Florida, once again at a good old Daytona International Speedway, where Pushing Limits Racing League now has the ultimate task ahead of them and the challenge that lays in wait. It is time for your Gen 6 Cup Series race here at Daytona International Speedway for Pushing Limits Racing League. Hi everyone, I am the Crusader Chris Stroud, joining you guys today live here on the track here right now. Weather pretty decent and pretty cold and up under the pressure here as we take a look at the Racing Groove Track Tech Talk. Weather pretty much kind of under control. Of course, the wind and temperature are going to be a bit of a factor here on the drivers, really pushing them a little bit around, giving them quite a few headaches here on this tri-oval and track, 2.5 miles in length. Of course, Daytona International Speedway definitely going to be giving these guys a lot of works around and a lot of headaches throughout, just with one little simple fact. They're going to have to push and shove each other as much as possible if they want these cars to go at their full potential and their full peak and horsepower. And we're about to find out who has all that and then some here on the show. So start them on the pole. It is the 84 of Matthew Hofford. We'll have the starting gun. It is outside. It's Keith Long in 71. Right number 2, it's Mike right out. The number 76 is outside. It is 42, Kevin Menebase. Right number 3 is Stanley Puddle in the 48. It's outside is Robert Kahn in the 21. Row 4 is Chantal Throttle in the 5. Row outside it's the 77. It's Daniel Moynihan. Row number 5 is Dustin Sonaker in the 50. Is outside is Julian Conde in the 18. Piling in row 6, Kevin Baker in the 87 with Cody McRae on the outside of him in the number 28, rounding out the field. And it looks like troubles for Stanley Pottle and Actually, no, just Janley Puddle here. 48 did not make the call out of the gate here, so we'll have to see if that becomes a factor later on. Got some throwbacks in the house here, some Bobby Allison schemes out here on the track, and ready to fire up. Going to be great driving that down on the strat on the circuit here. Going to get a little bit of representation for him and his crew. We'll have a little bit of fun down there for his end. Matthew Alford getting his big old 84 back out of the CarQuest machine. Good to see that back out here as well. Keith Long in 71. Gonna wheel up in the big 71 machine there. Nicely looking right as well. 76 Mike right out. Classic MRN GTR Racing Simulator for Chevrolet. Can't go wrong with that one. And the 5, of course, rocking her PTM Racing Fox scheme designed up to style there as well, with the Lightning Wrapz background and elbow control. Rubber Con going with a little bit of the Wood Brothers design up on the 21, representing from the day and age that this track knew well, all too well. And the field will line up back off the track, back onto position here. We are now set to go for the action at hand here at Daytona. 12 drivers to make the call, 10 on the field right now. The rest should play in later in the field. Coming off the edge and on the front straightaway line to the green flag, and the track is up. We're firing all cylinders. We're off. There we go, entering into turn number 1 and turn number 2. It is Hoffer on the bottom trying to hold Keith Long on the outside. Pushing and drafting it to be a very critical part here. Of course, as we mentioned a minute ago, these cars are very tough to handle and master on a power push basis. Drafting wise, you've got a very, very small bubble on your end, and you know you cannot make too many mistakes there with it. Got to stay under the power and under the nose throughout this race and throughout this speed and distance. The Castrol 42 Kevin Menapace right now getting a good little charge there up from the back end as Matthew Hoffer tried to make a dive for the inside. Closed the gap off though and threw the later block in. Trying to keep from getting some extra speed, trying to keep from letting anyone else kind of swing his way around. Hoffer though, definitely without a doubt, if I had to say, probably the driver that is going to be continuously back and forth with these guys and these other folks here today after literally losing out last night. And the Watkins Glen 30 here on for Pedal the Metal Racing League said he feels like that he's got one coming to him eventually, and he's owed one here. The 6 Sigma Sim Racing number 5 Chantel Bottle right now moving up in the chains, looking to try to go the outside or trying to go the inside. I would say probably making any passes though on the outside, maybe easier said than done. I have not ran these Gen 6s since the previous update, so I couldn't give you a good description how tough it is to actually build speed with these cars. I can tell you right now anyway though, it looks like they may have a little bit more giddy up than I thought there on the outside. Fast there by a minute pace here, and the 42 takes the race lead away. Last time I remember we ran with these things though, I remember that it was so difficult to get any run or get any kind of push or leg up on the speeds. This seems to be a completely different story here. It seems as though the cars now actually have a little bit of torque behind them and actually a little bit of drive to do as they want. And the 5 taking the early lead. Daniel Moya stuck in the middle there with a 3 wide swoop. Robert Kahn going on the outside, throws the 3 wide block in and now drives off in the corners. And they're getting pretty bumped in there a little bit. Whoa, a little bit more worse for wear. Trouble down on the front straightaway. Mike Rideout. And the 76 going for a tail whip and spin here. A big wreck ensuing, and it looked like from our end, Rideout was trying to get out of that mess, trying to evade trouble. And instead, he finds himself in trouble for his end of the bargain. Take a look at the PTM replay. We're going to go live and find out what happened here. Rear racing setup, reaching the replay, shows all and tells all, and you know, this is a very little weird circumstance here. I really couldn't tell you how that even came to be. I could tell you they got right up to Moynihan there, but I don't know if Rideout actually got a piece of him kind of going too quick, too close. Well, it looks like on my end here, Moynihan came down the slightest bit, actually clipped the number 76 of Mike Rideout, causing the wreck to happen there, unfortunately, and causing for that one to end up happening. So, and the officials seem to be agreeing with that statement, so they're going to have to go ahead and give him the EOL, unfortunately. And the Cementos Crunch 97 not catching any breaks here on the show, even after last night, unfortunately, after a few bad circumstances there, costing him plenty of time on the track. So now fields will go into pit road, and again, with only 10 drivers or 11 drivers on the track, I should say, this is going to make things a little bit easier for those that are trying to kind of stay out from the back of the outhouse and having to try to move up into the White House by simply just driving a little harder. But I think right now the biggest issue here is just trying to stay out of trouble. That's going to be the biggest factor here, as most of these guys are going in for fuel and right now, and some tire, and a few of them actually getting a couple tires on the right sides. Kevin Baker in the 87 going to go fly him right out here. Moynihan again does have to serve the EOL. Doesn't matter where he comes out of pit road at. He's still going to have to go to the back of the outhouse here. Scotty McRae in the 28 will move up one. So will Kevin Baker, Mike Rideout, and Robert Kahn and Julian Conde will do the same when the time comes here. So with that said in stone here, folks, quite a bit of a runoff from the start. But the fields are just getting underway. It's getting wild out here, and we're having fun down here in Daytona. Tonight's race presented under the lights of Daytona, presented in part by our friends at Premier Racing Setups, the best place to get your setup shop needs and all the setups you can think of. If you need help getting one done and make some maintenance done on others, well then tune in with PremierRacingSetups.com to get yourself squared away today. By Six Sigma Sim Racing, the best in performance and quality for the price and the buck you pay. These cockpits are designed your style, really, to help get you further into the racing world. Be sure to check them out on SixSigmaSimRacing.com. By the Racing Groove, all over North America, our podcast talks and racing news are covering everything in the land of racing to iRacing to the virtual planes of gaming. We are always on the chat and on the talks. And by Lightning Wrapz, the most affordable designs made at your leisure. Lightning Wrapz looks to bring out the best designs in your library. Well, field is now double filing back in position, so we're about ready to go back to the green flag here. 45 laps the distance here too. Again, if you're going to cause issues, you're going to get into a trouble here out of the gate. I mean, it's better to do it now rather than later, knowing you got a bit of a chance to kind of work around here for the future. But it's still not easy to have to kind of come off from that position and come off from that spot, knowing that he's got a little bit of a workaround to do and have some troubles to deal with here. Well, Dustin Sonaker, old Sparky, in the 50 will have the race lead, but how long will that last after what we saw there at the start of this race? It seems as though there is some momentum on the outside. Very surprising to me, because I remember there's a couple of months ago, you could not for the life of me get that outside to work with a Gen 6 Cup car. So whatever update has been happening or whatever's changed, things have gotten easier and have gotten a little bit better to push and shove on the outside and make a run for it. So we'll have to see if that hangs on, though. Mike Wilchers has the eyes on the track here. Mike, it's good to have you on board, sir. He's got the eyes on the track. We've got the eyes in the sky. We've got the eyes on our cars. And now it's time to bring the green back on out. Lights flicker on. We're underway. We're here at Daytona again. popping up on the outside. Robert Kahn, whoa. Looked like he was going for a pass there on the number 87 of Kevin Baker. Wanted to get a start. It ends up flying into the back, almost into Daniel Moynihan, the 77. Costing every one of them a little bit of time there. Baker has now squared himself back up, trying to strengthen on the bottom as Moynihan gets behind, gets in front of Kahn and Conde. Now you got 3 cars piling up in between the stacked lineup. Cody McRae, though, did not get out of pit road the way he was hoping for. Now he's got a long road ahead of him if he wants any chance to try to get back into this. Fire him down on the front straightaway now. Line him up to the bottom lane. Are we going to get the train out? No, not yet. And for the I've been actually tweeted about this a little bit and asked a little bit. It's like they commented and said, "Where is that little train, little graphic card you said you would throw up?" I didn't say I'd throw one up. I said I might do one. But if we have any of those Daytona Talladega races, which we have all the time, I think I might have to actually get a train built onto the service. Just so that we have something to kind of go when I say, "Here comes the Talladega choo-choo train." But we haven't had time to get to it, guys. We've been so busy in the studios just trying to make sure we get all these other broadcasts and stuff done. So you have to give us time on that one. But believe me, we are thinking highly of it. Uh-oh! And speaking of highly of it, strapped right down on a turn 4. Chantel Pottle in the 5 wrecked out completely, and a huge wreck ensuing. Mike Rideout involved, and so is Robert Kahn, and looks like Daniel Moynihan as well. Smashed into the pack there and into the back of the crack here, my word. That was not a good sign, to say the least, and I couldn't really tell you what went wrong exactly. Well, from my vantage point, it looks like Justin Sonaker might have pushed a little too hard and got the 5 loose here. Yeah, it looks like the 50 got into the 5 there and actually caused the 5 to go into that wall protection, so that will end up having a little bit of trouble down there for the 50, and Dustin Sonaker, I know, is not going to be too happy with himself on that one, but there's not much you can do about that, nor is there much you can really do about that end of the spectrum. They have a fine line they got to limit to, and they know it. Caution is out. Well, I mean, the biggest thing now is going to be seeing who stays out and who's just going to keep going around. We do know 5's going to have to go into pit road and get a fast repair done. We do know Robert Kahn will have to as well, and Daniel Moynihan, if he has any fast repairs left, will have to as this case. But he has a blown motor in that 77, and I guarantee you he's having a lot of problems down there trying to get that thing back up to the front. This is not looking good for that 77. It's been a rough last couple days for him and that crew. Kahn's got his repair done. So did Pottle here. Pottle is out first. Kahn will be out second. It looks like out of them. Stanley Pottle having it told to come to a stop here. Daniel Moynihan still trying to get that thing into pit road with whatever speed he has left under the hood. Downside for him is I don't know if he's going to be staying a lap on the track here. I think he might have already lost a lap too from that. So this is going to be a tough break for him. He hasn't quite lost his lap yet. If Kevin Baker gets around him, though, it's going to be over. It's going to be a lap down for Moynihan. He's going to try to get in pit road, get that instant repair done. We'll see the 77's got it in there. He does. He has an instant repair up, so he's just going to get some fuel and hopefully stay on lead lap territory. He's got some work to do, though. There he goes. He'll get it back on the track. And again, you just got to wonder yourself, though. I mean, these guys are getting really aggressive out of the gate. They've only got one instant repair they can use. And with these cars, again, we've seen it before with Champion Power Equipment. We've seen it before with guys like the Shake and Bake Racing League. We even saw quite a few guys that used to play it out, I believe, back when it was with the NASCAR Outlaw Series. You had those guys as well, kind of pushing their limits and pushing their fine lines. And at the same time, now you look at how they perform and how they are and how they settle in today, it's a whole different story. They're not the same cars they once were. They used to have a really good draft package to them, and they used to have a really good power pack pace to it, but I don't know. I do not know. It's a bit of a workaround. That's all we can tell you for sure. Alright, race fans, we're just about a quarter of the way through this one, well, 1/3 of the way, excuse me, through this one. This is going to be an interesting little startup sequence. As you got the name drivers now back on the track and back into the field here. Dustin Sonaker staying in the outhouse, and in the back of that pack here knows he got himself into a bit of a mess or a scruffle there. Line him up into position here, looking to fire him off down into the corners here. We'll bring him back on around the track into the green flag territory. Back to the lights. We're underway. Will they continue to stay aggressive, or will they try to lay off a little bit? That is the big kicker. Marching around down the back straightaway here, firing all around the racetrack here. Julian Condé, now the 18, has moved into the 3rd spot. He qualified 10th. He is currently 7 spots up. Not the hard charger, though. That will go to Kevin Baker, who's about 9 or 10 spots in that mix. But you can just see, just going on the outside, man, they are so loose up there. Maybe it wasn't all of Dustin Sonaker that had pushed the 5 around that much. Perhaps it could be just the fact that that car is so loose on that top side. I mean, we do know it is very tough to get the car to stabilize up there, but I mean, making a run there is where you're going to get most of your speed, most of your power at. And Matthew Hoffer, knowing that too well here, gets right behind the 5, trying to make a drive up in there. Mixing it across the 5 and the 4, go down low. Julian Condé was trying to get beneath, but did not get a run there. Kevin Baker holds his line, holds his own, and puts the rest of the field on notice. But Baker now going to the outside. He wants the draft following his line and following his cart. This is a bold move, and it's a big move there. Hoffert moving up on the outside, blocks him up, but is not enough. Baker swings it right by. This is extremely aggressive crossovers here. And again, it's so early. I'm not really sure why they are going this aggressively. But really, I don't feel it's the right time. Even Chantel Paddle's starting to see that too. She's like, forget this, I'm out of here. Daniel Moynihan in the 77 right now, punching it up on the outside. It's got the 13, or 18, excuse me, Julian Condé now in the race lead. Gande looking to try to hang on to the little speed he can get. The 5 of Pottle right now staying behind Stanley Pottle, trying to make the work around, trying to keep both drivers in content. But again, if Stanley Pottle doesn't start catching that draft, that could be bad for Chantel. She knows she can't lose the draft too far in case this does somehow stay green. But the way they've been crossing each other over, to me, it looks like it's just doomed for a wreck here coming up. If they're not careful anyway. I could be very wrong though, man. It could just end up doing this as much as they want to have fun with it. But I mean, every time I've watched these plate track races, this many kind of crossovers this early in the race, it usually does not spell for success later. Usually it could be a bit more of a nuisance for more harm than it does good. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact they're on a fresh set of tires and the draft is not totally cooked up their equipment yet for the aero package of it. On board here with the 7-minute crunch, the 77 Daniel Moyner right now, currently trying to put the Fords onto the fight with the Tundras. Not the Tundras, excuse me, the Toyotas. I'm so used to seeing the Toyota Tundras here on these tracks and these races. Going back and forth one another, Kevin Baker. Oh! Getting a huge knocker there right into the 84 by Matthew Hoffert. And Hoffert, I don't know if he was trying to keep Baker at bay for going below that yellow line, or what was that all about, but my word. Hoffert and Baker slamming into one another, and Baker certainly losing a lot of time and ground there. Gone piloting on the outside. These Gen 6s are getting to be more and more unstable. This is getting a bit more wild than I think we were expecting. Mike Rideout sent to the shadow rail into the bumpy grass plains of Daytona. Oh! Slamming into the wall there off the corner of turn 2 and 1. He's okay, at least to keep the car on track, but my word, he took a huge hit and a loss of major time there from these guys. I was telling you, I did not think this was going to be an easy little sit around here. They're driving literally like instead of like they have about 30 laps left, they're driving like they got 2 laps left. That's what's going on right now. I mean, the fans are enjoying it. They're on their feet screaming, hooping, and hollering. They love what they see, but man, if you're in the shoes like Mike Rideout and Kevin Baker, I don't know about how they would feel. I can tell you how I would probably be feeling right now. I probably wouldn't be too happy on my end. I'll tell you that much and give you my 5 cents on that. The tough lawn, number 28, Cody McRae right now looking to make a bit of a statement here. Of course, this is the design and body style, maybe known as better to most fans as the Silver Ghost design. Currently coming up there from the rankings of the Bobby Allison scheme that he had created. He said he wanted to kind of replicate it, mimicate here on this track. He says he doesn't get to do it very often with these Cup cars, so he wanted to do it something special here. Onboard camera here with us on Stone Acres. You see the field starting to click, clamor away, looking for some openings, looking for some drive here. Everybody on that front end right now trying to push and pass the back of the pack here and looking to keep up with the distance and up with control. But it seems though now a 4-car run is starting to be developed here. Keith Long, Kevin Menepace, Daniel Moynihan, and Julian Conde have now all seized it together and sized up each other to try to make this dash up. But now using that kind of fuel and using those kind of reserves, is this going to be a good long-term use of these cars? That's going to be a big thing they're going to have to watch out for, in my opinion. It's one thing to be put in this position they are in right now, but it's another to actually have to work off of it. Moving up on the top side here, Hoffert getting some help from Kahn. Kahn right now trying to get Hoffert up into the front here. Remember that, of course, there is really anybody's game plan or anybody's style. You have to push and shove on these tracks, and you have to push and run as much as possible to get these things to work and work as well. Doesn't matter who's a friend, doesn't matter who's an enemy. If you need to get a car into a certain place, there's only one way to do it, and that's literally by just driving the heck out of them. Coming up from behind right now, Cuddy McRae in the tough lawn, 828 now. Ford Mustang is starting to take some aim, take some shots under the Wrapz. But that Motorcraft 21 of Robert Kahn's going to be a guy I think you're going to have to watch out for. I've seen this move and I've seen this show too many times to tell you. When the rattlesnake gets clever, he gets clever. He's very, very patient. And there's one thing we've always talked about. The most dangerous and most feared weapon in anyone's arsenal is their patience. If they are settled in and relaxed and have nowhere to hide or run, depending on how close to depending on how calm and smooth and collective they are, can sometimes determine their overall position and overall pace to get upset with these guys. The Slonaker and Stanley Pottle both far back behind the field. Kevin Baker and Mike Rideout currently struggling to work with one another as well here. Again, they've really found themselves in a very tight little spot. Baker, I don't even know what the heck he's going on with him right now. He is so loose in that car as he was getting a little bit of a run there from Rideout. Well, time to set it up here, guys. You know what it is time for? It's time for the Choo-choo Daytona Delegated Draft Train, everybody. Up aboard. We've got one going for you. Well, the freight train is in session and it's on full force here. Coming right around right now here, everyone's still playing in position here. Robert Kahn looks like he's trying to go for a run on the outside, looking for a little bit of speed, kick up to it. Trying to see if there's an opening, can't quite make anything go there. Looks like the bottom line now starting to become a factor again. Topside was being extremely good to him earlier, but I think they were just getting way too low. And way too all over the place to really hold that line down, and I think they know it. They're just trying to stay under control now. Field still separated out by less than about a half a second right now, up between the sixth place to the front run in the pack here. Kahn right now working with Hoffert, trying to also get ahead of the field and get ahead of Hoffert. Looks like he's still trying to get the outside line to kick up anything and really trying to get some guys to go with him. I think he's looking for the 84 of Hoffert and the 5 of Chantel Pottle to work with him. But nevertheless, no avail, no success. I think really they're only going to get him about 2 laps left to go. I think this is about where they really don't want to get into, is really having to worry about being put in this predicament, put in the spot. It's a very tough little ordeal to have to work around. It looks like Khan's what he was after. I think he was trying to wait for these guys to outflay themselves on fuel. He gets his wish, so is Pottle and Hoffert. Conde, Moynihan, Minute Pace, Long, and McRae all head into pit road. Dustin Sonaker was already in pit road, ran out of fuel there, and he's going to get put even a lap down for his troubles. That is certainly not what the 50 of Sparky was looking for here. Bottle and Khan now working off each other yet again. Using the draft, using the speeds. This time, though, both in Fords. Khan's been driving mostly Chevys, but this time he gets into the Wood Brothers Ford's team to give a little bit of extra speed, as he puts it. And all three will now head into pit road. They will opt into their pit strategies here. Gotta time it just right. Oh no, that's not timing it just right. My word. Robert Kahn getting taken there by the 5 of Chantel Bottle entering in, turned into the pit road. Khan's gotta hurry. He knows that is not what they needed to do. He can't have mistakes like that. That's a big, big mistake. Gian Conde, Keith Long, Kevin Miniface, Danny Moynihan are already out of the track. They're trying to get some speed going, trying to lick the draft up. Bottle and Hoffert are literally trying to think of themselves. They need Khan out now as soon as possible. Khan is going to take a little longer, though, because that little tag in pit road. They're back out. But so is the field coming up from behind. They're going to need a lot of help here. Here we go, down in turn number 1. Now, how will the fuel reserves use up, and how will the timing execute? Khan may have a chance to get these guys right here in this draft if he can just get out of pit road and drive off somebody's rear end here. He's going to have to catch Gondes here. He's going to have to hope for the best. Khan is in a very tight little circumstance here. He knows he's in very big trouble. Well, that was really not what he had planned, nor was he had in mind. He was not hoping for it. Hoffert and Pottle left all alone with Long and them coming right up behind. And again, 4 cars are better than 2 with this car especially. Here's a look at our timing intervals right now with everyone out separated by a good margin or 2. You can see those that are straight ahead of one another and those that are just completely taken out of the proportions. Mike Rideout, though, could be a bit of a saving grace for the 5 and the 84 here. Remember last time, Hoffert managed to get his win back at it when they were going at it at iRacing Super Speedway using Dustin Sonaker as kind of a guiding shield, if you will, to get that speed and build up all that momentum, but it was not to be here. They're going to get passed up right off the corners here, and now down on the outside, trying to avoid getting too loose, getting too all over the place. Now the field has resurged itself into a packed draft here. We're set up again. Khan, McRae, way behind pace, way behind the field here, but they've got a little bit of a helping hand. Stanley Pottle on the 48, trying to help him out just a little bit, maybe give him some gleam of hope, a little bit of life. Easier said than done, though, at this track. Right around in turn 1, Kevin Minipace now looking at Keith Long here, maybe looking for a shot to take over. Minipace, remember, has won here on this very, very same track. He was the first winner of the new season here in Pushing Limits Racing League. But guess what? Ever since then, he has not been able to exercise the demons and come away with another win. He's been trying desperately to get it and get it situated out, but it's not been there, and he has not been able to. Snaker parked on the outside right now, looking to hang on, looking to stay out of trouble if he all can. Ten laps left to go. Day right now, just up ahead of the 5 and the 84. In the middle of the crux here, trying to keep himself out of trouble. He knows he's down in instant repair. He needs to use it. He needs to use all that car for the last bit and a last-ditch effort and hope. Knows it could get a little bit rough, could get a little bit wild there if he's not careful. Just trying to stick to the guns, trying to stick to positions. Coming off the ends now, you got a whole group of field picked in there. Dustin Snaker kind of crossed up and now caught him there. Kevin Baker back into the field. And again, these are guys that are lapped down as well, so it's not going to help their cause any here for the long haul. You can just see how smooth Metaface has to be with Keith Long here, not trying to get in trouble, not putting themselves in trouble. Oh, no! Oh, my! No! Huge wreck ensues, and Keith, Conde right into the back there of Matthew Hopper, but what a word. Keith Long got taken to the shadow realm, unfortunately, and it looked like maybe just a slight bit too much contact between him and Kevin Menapace in the 42, and I don't know where all that went wrong out of turn 4. We'll have to take a look at the PTM Instant replay, but my word, you saw it on the nose of him there. Long was literally right in the mix. Metaface looked like he was trying to give him a push, and instead he completely clips him and takes everyone for a ride. My word. Well, I want to know this too, though. How bad did that front of the nose of Chantel Bottle take there? She literally, I think she actually ran over the underside of him. I think she actually ran over the underside there of that 71. Oh, she did. She was literally underneath, went under the bridge on that one. Car doesn't seem to have taken any damage from our ends here, but that will certainly be judged in a minute. But how the heck did she avoid any contact with that 71? That remains questionable at best, and we'll have to see if how long it takes some pit rope of race fans when we come back. Will anybody, I mean anyone, be able to finish this thing out? Can somebody bring this thing to victory lane? Find out when we return. Tonight's race here in Daytona International Speedway brought to you in part by our friends at PremierRacingSetups.com. Need the best and the toughest setups to beat out there? Then there's only one brand name to trust in, Premier Race Setups. Be sure to visit them up at PremierRacingSetups.com. By Six Sigma Sim Racing, when you guys need a new cockpit and new materials for your rigs, only one brand name can stand above all else. With their affordable prices, Six Sigma Sim Racing is the best on the market. By the Racing Grove, all over North America, our podcasting, racing news, and coverage comes from you live from many plains of the country, from Canada, the United States to Mexico. The sim racing community also stands with us. We are the Racing Grove, and we certainly are out to show you the best of the news coverage. And by the Lightning Wrapz, the most affordable designs, major leader, Lightning Wrapz looks out to bring out the best designs in your livery.
you need the best designs in your fleet of vehicles, there's only one brand name that many trust in. One that makes every car pop out from the rest of the field, and that is Lightning Wrapz. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at Lightning Wrapz to get yourself a vehicle unlike the rest. Lightning Wrapz, the most affordable designs made at your leisure.
Well, race fans, if you thought literally that we were in the time crunch scenario for these drivers, you were not wrong. And if you thought also earlier that these guys couldn't get any more crazy or couldn't get any more wild with their crossovers, well, look at how many laps is left. On we go to the restart. 5 laps remain here on PTM Racing TV for the Pushing Limits Racing League, and this could get really interesting and integral for these drivers. Right now, Julian Condé, the 18, is the spotter on the start. Daniel Muñoz on the outside, looking to try to gain some speed and gain some clout. Matthew Hoffer, the 84 CarQuest machine, looking to take it right there with the 5 Chantel Pottle. Everybody has got a playing field and an advantage point here, to say the least. The top 5 will remain on your screen for the rest of this one here, as we are going to get them all situated out. See how quick things can flip-flop and crisscross applesauce around here on these last laps, because I got a feeling we're going to see some major craziness here. Coming right off a turn 4 to the front straightaway. This is the time and the place to make your mark and make your move. Which one of these drivers will be the one to do it? We're about to find out. Green's out, and we are finishing this at 5 to go. Guys and gals up top right now need to do one thing. Just try to stay clear of going out of control. Stay straight and keep it nice and smooth. Drivers on the bottom right now trying to make some move up to the jumps, trying to get some corner off as well. Hoffer getting a good push there. Condé in the 18. Big push there. Cody McRae going down below there with the 5 and the 77 left all alone. They know the run is on the outside, but the run is on the bottom, but the outside still has some life. Remember, if you get a little bit too aggressive around that bottom, you can end up flipping like Menapace did earlier in the 42. And Menapace right now is trying to get back up into this ranking. Trying to take a charge up there, looking for some help, looking for some runoff. Coming right off of the edge here, keep going out of this guy. He just will not go down without a fight. Comes down swinging. Goes for it all, making the run and the boost up in position. He's taking the lead away with Cody McRae. Chantal Pottle has now moved into the 3rd slot. Daniel Muñoz falling further and further back, maybe settling up for one last dash, one last push. With 3 laps to go, anybody's race, anybody's timing could be integral here. Pumping them down on the outside right now. Here we go. Final 2 laps remain. Green flag high in the air. And the 21 of Robert Kahn pushing the 5 Chantel Pottle back down to the bottom. Right into the mix. And look at this. Dustin Sonaker, he's a lap down, but he is up on the outside right now, being a bit of a nuisance here for those that are trying to make a move off. They may have to go to the extreme top shelf to get any kind of help. Looks like Sonaker, though, may be a bit of a hand there to the 77. Could get him a little bit of speed. Timing going to be integral here. Can Khan hold the 5 down and hold himself up as well? He's going to try to make that move for the outside, but he's getting pushed and beaten and bumped and banged and battered by Keith Long. Slonaker trying to hold off as well. Now to a jump to the outside goes Conde for the brief minute. Was a white flag pops on now. White flag is out. Wherever we go from here, it's anybody's guess. Slonaker take it out to the 50. And the 21 of Robert Kahn slamming it into the 28. A huge wreck ensues and a field of drivers crashed in between. Matthew Hoffman's the only one that came out of it with a little bit of damage. He's really in third right now. And Kahn and Pato literally back down the back straightaway one more time. Will Kahn go for the pass? Kahn's going to need to line her up and set it up for the corner off of turn 4. The 21 looking to go to the outside. Pato trying to defend the bottom. Straight to the line though. Off of turn 4. Chantel Paddle's going to get another one. She goes quadruple at Pushing Limits Racing League and wins here at Daytona. And Matthew Hoffert, despite a completely destroyed front end, will get that 84 to hang on to the race third place spot and hold on for third. Daniel Moynihan, even the damage on his car, goes fourth. And Mike Rideout, give the man his due. He never quit, never surrendered. And he ends up getting a top 5 here at Daytona. An impressive raw display of fight and credibility there for those that did not quit. And strategy was what really saved the 5's day. Stayed back when she had to, made the moves when she needed to after her first wreck, and since then got this one taken care of. 4 wins in a row now for her. Top 3 celebrating down on the track here, and just say you can play them. And Elsa Soldaker saying congratulations, she got that one. I think maybe a little bit of that was for Khan though, if I had to guess. So here's your winners here. Pato gets the win, Khan goes second, third Matthew Hoffert, fourth Daniel Moynihan, fifth to Mike Rideout, Julian Conde, 6, 7 to Cody McRae, 8 to Kevin Menepace, Keith Long, 9, 10 to Kevin Baker. Rounds out top 10. Well, it was wild, it was crazy, and there's only really one last thing left to do. You know what time it is. Time to take it down to our drivers here and take a listen in with our drivers. And coming away today, of course, as the one that brings it home will be in the third spot. Matthew Hoffert coming away here out of the bunch here with a wild little race there to the end. And Hoffert, I have a feeling right now you're just thinking to yourself, I don't even know how I got this one, but I'm glad I got it here at least at one piece.
Big time, big time. That race was something else. I'm glad to come home in third. Congrats on Chantel for the win. That was a crazy one there. That was a lot of pushing and shoving tonight.
It really was indeed, but you know, the car really, it handled, it prioritized, and really stayed stable and true to its word. But, I mean, this was also kind of a bit of a workaround, too. You had a lot of chances, a lot of opportunities where things could get extremely, extremely crazy, and it did very much so, didn't it?
Yeah, not as much as I thought it was going to, but when we least expected it, it definitely got crazy quick, and the cars flying in the air and flying over other cars, and yeah, it got crazy pretty quick when we didn't expect it.
Absolutely. Well, nevertheless, Hoffert coming away third out of this field today. I know this one definitely is going to mean a lot, so who do you want to thank for this one?
Well, all of our sponsors that come with us this week, this season, PTM Racing TV, all the fans and friends watching at home, we appreciate it, and see you on the next one. Going dirt racing.
See you in the next one. Dirt racing indeed. This should be some fun. We'll see you next time out. Congratulations on a third place, though, Hoffert.
Thanks, man.
Matthew Hoffert, ladies and gentlemen, coming away out of the bunch here. with a solid second, third place. Coming away second, though, Robert Kahn here in the 21. And Kahn, I know this Wood Brothers 21 was holding up quite a bit there, but that last lap, I'm not sure who held up more there, you or the 50 of Sonaker, you two colliding there on the front straightaway. And it looks like he's got some technical difficulties on his end here, folks. We'll have to see if I can bring him in real quick. Hold on just a moment here. We'll have to see if we can chit-chat with him. There, got a copy, Con?
Yeah, I hear you.
Alright, there we go. Now we got him working. So, Con, literally down the line there on the front straightaway, things were looking pretty good with you, that Wood Brothers 21, but then contact between you and the 50, Dustin Sonaker, causing a big pile-up behind you. What was going through your mind when you saw that kind of come up?
I'm trying to tread carefully when I say this because just am, but people can't take 10-mile-an-hour runs on when there's a car in front of another car and expect that not to happen. And that's what happens with the end of a race. But everything's great, Chris. Everything's great.
Well, hey, everything's great, and then you know, he came around still with a strong showing in a fight there as you were launching and lifting it off back down to the edge here on the front straightaway. Couldn't quite go for the move though. Did you just not have enough speed to make that last jump, or what was going on?
No, when you get it, when you're two-car draft with them, you get a bubble in between you, and you can't break that bubble no matter what. You can move around the track or try different things to break it, but it's so hard. That person has to make a mistake for you to get a run on them. So you're kind of just locked in there. But top three, everything's great, I guess.
I guess so. Well, Con, as you lived through the moniker of Kyle Busch, does anybody want to thank for this?
PTM TV, Butt Kicker, as a great Kyle Busch says, haters. That's about it. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
For sure there. Thanks for your time here, Con. We'll see you next time out, bud.
All right, man.
The Rattlesnake coming away second as the one that brings home the win 4 times in a row, I believe. Now going to the 5 Chantel bottle. And Chantel, this was pretty crazy on the first half, but the second half, then the strategy came in, and it looked like everything was almost all over with when the number 71 literally was above your roof. I gotta believe that was a scary moment for you there.
Yeah, I ended up not getting no damage. That was the main thing. I wanted to just keep the car clean and finish where I need to finish.
And you did finish in exactly where you had to, where you wanted to be. And, you know, with this being another huge win for you and your crew, I mean, I got a feeling this is probably going to kind of keep the confidence going even further, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Dirt should be fun, and should be actually really fun. And we're going to Bristol, so yeah, should be a good one.
Should be a bit crazy. We know how Bristol can be, but nevertheless, though, as you come away with a win, who do you want to thank?
Everyone at PTM Racing TV and all of our sponsors for Pushing Limits Racing League.
For sure there. All right, Chantel, thank you for your time, and congratulations on this race win today.
Thanks.
Chantel, the Throttle Bottle, comes away with the race win to close out this one here, race fans. And my word, this was wild, this was chaotic, and that's pretty much the way we like it, I guess you could say. But for now, we're going to call this one a good to go. Dirt is coming up next for those drivers, but for now, we're sending it off with a big thank you to our friends at PremierRacingSetups.com, Six Sigma Sim Racing, The Racing Groove, and Laying Your Wrapz. Thank you so much all for your support and to showcase here today. Race fans, we'll see you next time when the green flag is flying high.